Thank you so much for joining us today at the Household of Faith. We're talking to you this week about value, how we value God and how God values us, how we value ourselves, how we value each other. And the first thing that we talked about was how God values us, but I want to talk to you today about how we value God. And we're not just talking about, oh, well, once saved, always saved, or, I basically throw God a bone every once in a while. I go to church every Sunday, or worship as they call it now, or, I guess the daily devotionals like these, or the daily scriptures, and, or something like that. And, I have some friends who are, Christians. No, I'm talking about real value. How we focus on the things that are important to God and how we are obedient to his will. That's the kind of value I'm talking about. When Jesus was in the garden and we heard the story and we read it and we know that he prayed multiple times. He prayed 3 times for the cup, for the task, the assignment, for the reason he came into the world to be taken away from him. If there was another way that he didn't have to do what he was going to have to do to suffer and to endure, but there was no other way. He said, okay, nevertheless, not my will, but your will be done. I look at that and I like the fact that he could admit that, you know what, if there's another way other than me doing this, let's do that. But I know that there's not another way. I know that this is what you planned all along for mankind. And the Bible tells us, there's a particular scripture where it says that, he thought about what he was going to have to suffer, but he looked forward past that to the joy that was going to be his. And that joy is being realized now because as believers, as we believe in him because of what he did for us. And when he comes back again to gather us all up, his bride, that's what he that's what he looked past what he had to suffer. And we're by no means attempting to minimize his suffering because it was great. It was intense. And yet, he did it because he knew what the end result would be. So, let's say that you're facing the worst situation you have ever faced in your life, and it's being prolonged. It seems like it's just never ending. Can you look past what's going on right now? And look forward and just see what's ahead of you? Can you value what's ahead of you more than what is going on right now? Can you have value in what you're suffering through right now as opposed to what you're going to receive in the future? How valuable is that? How beneficial is eternity in the presence of God to you? What value do you place on that as opposed to where you live? What's going on with you where you live? That's the kind of value I'm talking about when I say we need to value the things of God. We need to value God's plan for our lives. We need to place the highest value, the highest regard, hold in the highest esteem those things that God has planned for us far and above anything that we may suffer or endure while on this earth.